Good afternoon, friends. Let me take you through another paper which has been published in the Journal of Cambridge Studies, as you can see, number one. Number two, this particular paper I had to read at least two times so that I was able to gather the information that I really wanted it. So you can see out here that the title is Tense of Reporting in Dissertation Literature Reviews. Now, if you remember, this is a classic paper which is published in 2009, as you can see it out here also side by side. And if you look at it very carefully, this is by Min Fang Shen, and he is from Wuhan Institute of Technology, and we all know where Wuhan is. Now that is on the lighter note. So what exactly he wanted to do, because you see, when I was writing a paper especially for my systematic literature review to understand whether one should really give importance to grammar in research and the associated academic writings, I came across this paper and I observed that maximum of people, including the editors of some of the journals, were focusing on these things also side by side. So I thought, okay, let me go through and introduce this particular paper to all of you so that we are aware as to what exactly is taking place. Now, this particular paper is, as you can see, 12 are total page numbers. So let us see how quickly I'm able to give you the entire information. Abstract, let's read out very quickly what he has to say so that I will just proceed further and move ahead with whatever we are planning to take care. So he says out here, the tense realization of reporting verbs in each literature review, which he is now abbreviated as LR, is in sense individualistic and particular to each situation. What does this mean? It depends upon each and every individual who is conducting their research work, number one, and it is not a general, remember, it is a particular one. In spite of this, LRs follow certain patterns shared by the peers and the audiences of the writer. Since one of the writer's primary goals in writing a dissertation LR is to convey his mental imagery. What do you mean by mental imagery? A picture, so that his peers and his audiences are able to understand it. This article shows that tense choice is an important element. Remember this thing, and that is the reason why I have picked up this particular paper, so that we are able to understand not only dissertations but also in LRs in all the disciplines. So across the disciplines he found that tense of reporting is really important one. So it is important to make students and novice writers of academic research aware of such usage and able to construe their writing on the basis of the prior by commenting on advantages, advantages, drawbacks. I mean, we know what all these things are all about. I'm not interested in this thing. I'm more interested to understand what he has to say about the tenses, that is the grammar, and we will see the other things later on. First, my focus is on the tenses, which let me iterate out here that every person, if you observe the communication, it totally differs from person to person. The way I speak will be very different by another person, irrespective of our designations or from which background we are coming in from, etc, etc, etc. Now you will see these are the differences, because tenses play a lot of role, and I can vouch on it the moment you are looking. So what happens if we are focusing on the tenses, especially on the academic writing? So here he says this paper studies what? The tense alternation after careful examinations of reporting verbs used in 100 native English speakers dissertations from PQDD, that is ProQuest Digital Dissertations, and 10 from each of the disciplines. And we will see what is the appendix that he has to share it. It intends what? The next question is, what does it intend? I'm not going to read anything else. To make students and novice writers aware of such usage and able to construe their literature review on the basis of the prior and get all these things. Now, what do you mean by next question arises, tense alteration in similar studies? First of all, let's understand what does he mean by similar studies. One point which he highlighted earlier is that it differs from study to studies. Then he says out here that yes, we can find he said that across the domains he is going to study, number one. Number two, he said that tenses, the usage of tenses differs from person to person as per their research work. Third, now he's saying that let us look at tense alternation in similar studies. Now here he is taking it up. Let's see, tense alternation is often studied together with the voice. Verbal language as well as this one he's talking about. Past tense and active voice tend to be associated with reporting detail. Remember this thing, that's why I'm highlighting. While passive perfect verbs often initiate new subtopics. Now for me, these lines are tremendously important and I'm giving them 3 stars out here. Remember this thing. This is something that you will have to remember, that yes, when I'm writing, these are the guidelines. Next, what is he telling us? Then he says the writer exploits a temporal reference to the strategically manipulate generality. Now you see, I was reading some more papers wherein they said that once you are moving from let's say first level to the universality or objectivity that you want to achieve, there is going to be these differences which come in forth with respect to the time. Okay, so the simple tense, he says the simple present tense, present perfect tense, simple past tense covers almost 90% of finite reporting verbs. Remember that. Now verbs are of 2 varieties. Now I'm not going to explain to you here. You can look at my playlist which very soon I'll be uploading them on different parts of the English parts of speech in English language, and you will see that one of the important topic is verbs, and I have to make it share it with each one of you out here, that yes, when you are talking about sentences, always remember that whenever we talk about sentences, we have to understand first of all whether there are complete sentences or incomplete sentences. Then I have to go ahead and identify my subject. Then I have to identify the predicate which is present, the main verb which is there, and see the play between these 3 things which are taking place in a particular sentence. If you are a trained person, it becomes very easy. If you are not trained and you do not emphasize so much on the grammar aspect of the language, then the difficulty comes in for us, then we understand that okay, I have taken care of the analysis, however the writing part becomes very, very difficult. Now you see, I have since I'm also into writing and a necessary writer, in that way I see that sometimes I'm also stuck up as to how to go ahead and be very innovative and creative in my own writing. So he says that this represents increasing distance of various kinds of the reported finding, and he is referring also, you can have a look at Swalt's 1990 paper. Then he says tense alteration is the speaker's strategic device that encodes information and attitudes contrast of reporting in a discourse. Now you see, what do you mean by that? The speaker's attitude, empathy to participants and to speech event. For example, if I'm doing a qualitative study, Okay, now when I'm taking an interview, I found I do remember that one of the research scholar from Delhi University had placed a call to me specially to ask me, ma'am, I'm conducting a qualitative study, and do you think that while I am conducting an interview, I have to mention the date, the place, and take the signature of the individual? Number two. Number three, then while interacting with them, I see a lot of differences are coming in. Especially, she says that I'm doing my research work in English language, however the interviews are being conducted in Hindi language. So then she wanted to ask certain things, and she said that I find a lot of difficulties even translating my statement from English language to Hindi language. I said, you will have to do that somehow, you will have to maintain it, and the difficulties will be coming. So here, when we are looking into the research, you will see on one side it is the researcher that is present, then on the other side is the participant with whom you are interacting, and thirdly, after completion of all these things, the generality that you are going to arrive. So you can see the relationship that is taking place between all the three and how the things are coming in. However, if you have these kind of problems like empathy to participants, whether let's say I'm interacting with a farmer. Now, my English is very good. However, there are certain farmers who are literally very good in English language. However, I find some of them, they're not so much conversed into the English language. However, they're comfortable in speaking either Punjabi or the Hindi language. Now, when this is coming in, what should I do? At that moment, do I have to take some kind of an empathy and try to understand? Now, who is empathizing whom? That is also a question. Am I empathizing the farmer, or farmer is empathizing me? Okay, so the things that are being shared between both of us, how things will be working out, is something that we need to understand. And to the speech event, now the entire event that is taking place, now if you remember the rules of tenses as prescribed by the popular book that is authored by Brennan Martin, you will see that they say tenses are nothing but the way the words or the sentences are being dealt in a situation or an event, or let's say a particular activity which is taking place, and then they explain to you each and everything. It is not such an easy thing that yes, you will say, oh, tenses ही तो है, आराम से हो जाएगा. No, there are a lot of intricacies which are present over there, and one has to really understand as to how this thing is taking place. And the contextual information. What do you mean by contextual information out here? That is human relationships between the individuals, two individuals. For example, if I'm not very comfortable in speaking to a person, let's say two individuals are there, and in front of me a man is there and I'm there. Now I know by the look of that person that the man is making me very uncomfortable. At that time, do you think the way I'll be communicating with them would be, I'm talking about the verbal communication, in non-verbal communication takes place very easily. This is what I would say. However, when it comes to the verbal, one has to be really careful, and especially I see even this difficulty, participant psychological states. Like, that is very difficult to capture. Now I don't know. Now let's say not with my teachers, I don't have any issue with them, and I'm very comfortable. Like, whatever their mood is there, I just go, I talk to them, and I know I'll be getting the responses that I'm looking for. However, there are certain situations where you are not aware as to how the other person is going to behave or respond to your question or answer. So at that time, I take a lot of precaution that yes, I should not move ahead and even start a communication with that individual. It really becomes very difficult for us, and I have to look at their face. Are they in a good state? Then I should go ahead, and if they are not, then I better stay away from that person. So that's why we say either we are very comfortable with that person, or we say that we are not very comfortable and we just move away. because there are certain situations out there. Now I see, for example, okay, let me not enter into those zones at all. Now Sakita's research can shed some light on the study of tenses in academic writing. That is also next one. So here he is talking about the tense alternation phenomena of reporting verbs reflect how a speaker perceived the past scenes that existed in his or her memory and are now being recollected. For example, you have forgotten to take your tape recorder, or you forgot to start off the recording through your phone, and you are simply I would say start talking to the other person and conducting an interview. Now, you see, if you have forgotten to record the entire thing, once you are back home, whatever your memory tells you, it will be fine. However, your memory, you cannot rely on your memory. I hope all of us do understand even this thing, no matter how good we are in remembering things. So here he says out here, according to Hopkins and Dudley Evans, 1988, an introduction is a cyclical pattern with the components outlined as follows. Now this is for the first time I have heard when I read this particular paper. So I thought, no matter what happens, I should go ahead and start showcasing these things to each one of you so that we are aware of it. So what is this cyclical pattern that he is right now talking about? He says statement. So let me go ahead and come over here. Statement outlining variable 1. Now look, have we ever done this kind of a thing? Now, after reading this particular paper, when I was trying to do some of my work, I started exactly doing the way he has said. Description of the previous research relating to variable 1 and evaluation of this research, which is, he says optional, statement outlining variable 2, then description of the previous research related to variable 2 and evaluation of this one, that you can look at it. So what happens in the step of statement? Now you see, I'm reading line by line so that each one of us are aware of it. I'm not even going to say, okay, here's the paper, you read it all by yourself. No, I'm reading it so that we are aware and all of us are on the same page. The present tense, he says, for the statement outlining variable 1, the present tense is often used, and in the step of the description of the previous research relating to this one is past tense. Now remember, when you are writing a statement outlining variable 1, it can be an objective. Number 1, all these things will be in past tense. However, the moment you are talking about the description, either you do the description statistics or you are trying to explain about it, it will be in the past tense. I hope things are clear right now. Then he says after that, although Hopkins and Dudley Evans in 1988 patent, the step of an evaluation of this research is optional. The current study finds it nearly all of the 100 literature reviews, and it is in this part of literature reviews that variation of the tense use of reporting verbs occurs more often than in the other steps. Now you understood till the time you are dealing with the introduction, okay, you are focusing on the present tense. Okay, the moment you reach to the literature review, you can see that kind of a shift. That's exactly what he is trying to tell you. Then he says, below is an example analyzed by using Hopkins Dudley Evans 1988 pattern. What is it? Prior research, okay, has addressed, now this is the example, prior research has addressed different aspects of marketing coordination separately. So this is the statement he says outlining the variable 1. Now it's not my duty to go ahead and make you understand that what is the out here the variable 1. Okay, let's understand and take it for granted we all understand it. For example, researchers have considered the specific case of coordinating prices across multiple. This is purely a marketing paper, so it becomes much more easier for the marketing students to understand it. However, try to grasp what exactly he is telling you out here. Then he is telling you in this particular case, okay, what he is making it clear is the description that you are talking about. Okay, so he says description of the previous research relating to variable 1. Now you see, when I am doing the research, what happens, especially when I'm doing the LR, I recognize one of the IDVs, okay, then I recognize and take it through the DV which is present, and immediately once I'm taking care of these things from my side, what do I do? Through the literature review, I have to go ahead and find out at least 5 references which states or gives me the relationship between the IDV and the DV. This is something which I do normally. Now you will see it becomes much more easier for you to understand when you are identifying the relationship between these two. You will put it into what I will call it as the present tense. Try it and see all by yourself. You don't require any kind of a training out here. You will be doing it on your own automatically if you are good at that particular language. However, the moment you start, I would say, using these 1, 2, 3, 4 references, you will see that this thing, the relationship that you're talking about, takes up the case of the past tense. Now this is across the domains that I have seen. It's because I write papers for education, I write papers for philosophy, I write papers for film studies, health sciences, nursing, pain management. Now, I mean, these are some of my areas. Okay, now when I'm doing it, so much of research work, I have seen that yes, exactly this is what is taking place, and you cannot go ahead and say that what this person is telling you is absolutely a crap. It's not a crap. Trust me, it is very important, and that's why after such a long time I thought, okay, let me come back and share these details also. Now he has explained to you all these things. If you are interested, please go ahead and read them more so that you will be able to know them. Now coming to the next part that he is discussing, and that is tense of reporting verbs in LRs. Okay, now here he is talking about what? So he says, let us focus on the tense of reporting verbs in LRs. So first he says out here, what is the first point? He says the first is that distributions of the tenses of reporting verbs in 100 LRs are investigated. Now you see, if you have that much of patience, pick up the papers all by yourself and start looking at them, and you will see that yes, this exactly. And secondly, tense usage in LRs is examined, followed by a brief summary of this one. So here he is discussing about the distributions of the tenses of reporting verbs in 100 LRs. So one can go ahead and you can look at it. For me, I'll just go directly to table 1A to understand how the things are, and now you will see, once we see the numbers, the quantification for it, we are really happy, and we say, okay, what things have been said are absolutely true. Till that time, maybe you will have to go ahead with your own, I would say, as a conceptual discussion, or you will say, ki, okay, whatever she's saying must be her own idea, kind of a thing. However, here, if you are looking at the table, you are able to get an idea as to what exactly is taking place out here. Let's see disciplines: linguistics, sociology, economy, marketing, philosophy, and the percentage. Okay, and here have a look. How many words are there giving you using present tense, then past tense, perfect, and other tenses are also there, which you will be surprised, and their total scores, and then the percentage has also been referred to here, which means out here this is what is important for us. Now table 2, if you look at it, okay, I just skipped it out. Table 2, he says out here, tenses, tenses of reporting verbs in sciences, physics, chemistry, computer, biology, engineering. So you can have a look at it. What is the percentage? Now if I scroll up and see the percentage, 74%, 67, 15.8 past tense is fine, 6.4 for perfect, and 11.5 other tenses, 3.8. So you can see how rigorous, how robust is the usage of tenses from the social sciences to the science domain if we are coming into the picture. Now similarly, if we go ahead and compare the entire 100 LRs, so discipline is again humanities and sciences, the one that I was comparing, average is 70.6, past percentage is this, perfect is this. So that's also a very good diagram. I mean, you have got the numbers out here, so you can see what is the importance, and this is the descriptive about it. I'm not entering into the depth of it. However, we can just see a very simple paper. However, the way he has given us the information as to how important these things are, one can really go ahead and you can read them further into details and see as to what exactly things are taking place in our own research work. Now nobody focuses on these things, and we think that okay, these things are not useful. For example, what is the importance of grammar if we are looking into the other aspects of the research? Not right now, however, yes, slowly I'll be jumping into those discussions also which have been given to us, and we will understand. Appendix for me had been very helpful because he discusses a lot of things out here along with the papers and the books. So these things are really important. If you are sensitive enough, you can also go ahead, you can have a look at it, and you can enjoy reading this particular paper. So this is basically tense of reporting in dissertation literature reviews. I would say it's not just the dissertation, even the theses, and including some of the papers also. Why some? In fact, all the papers across the domains, you can have a look at it. So I'm just going to stop here with this particular discussion, and let me come up with yet another topic for discussion under the grammar. Till then, thank you and take care. Bye.